Have you ever heard of a hero so strong he could wrestle gods and monsters? A man whose name has echoed through millennia? Today we're diving deep into the legend of the greatest hero of Greek mythology, Hercules, or as the Greeks called him, Heracles. But this isn't just a story of super strength. It's a tale of tragedy, redemption, and 12 seemingly impossible tasks known as the 12 Labors of Hercules. Our story begins with a dark twist. Hercules, in a fit of madness sent by the jealous goddess Hera, committed a terrible crime. When he came to his senses, he was overwhelmed with guilt. Seeking to atone for his actions, he traveled to the Oracle of Delphi. The Oracle commanded him to serve his cousin, King Eurystheus of Tyrians, for 12 years and complete any 10 labors the king set for him. Little did he know, Eurystheus, influenced by Hera, would make these tasks as deadly as possible, so began the first labor: slay the Nemean Lion. This wasn't just any lion. Its golden fur was impenetrable to mortal weapons. Arrows bounced off and swords shattered against its hide. Heracles, realizing his weapons were useless, tracked the beast to its lair. He blocked one of the entrances and confronted the lion inside. In a display of raw power, he wrestled the creature, using his bare hands to choke it. After his victory, he used the lion's own claws to skin it, creating his iconic lion skin cloak and helmet. Next up, the second labor: slay the Lernaean Hydra. This was a monstrous water serpent with 9 heads, and one of them was immortal. To make matters worse, for every head Hercules cut off, 2 more would grow back in its place. It was a nightmare of regeneration. Hercules wasn't alone this time. His nephew Iolaus came to help. As Hercules sliced off the heads, Iolaus used a flaming torch to cauterize the stumps, preventing them from regrowing. Finally, Hercules buried the immortal head under a massive rock. He then dipped his arrows in the Hydra's poisonous blood, a decision that would have major consequences later in his life. With 2 labors down, King Eurystheus was getting nervous. He needed something even more impossible. For the third labor, he ordered Hercules to capture the Ceryneian Hind. This beautiful deer had golden antlers and bronze hooves, and was sacred to Artemis, the goddess of the hunt. It was so fast it could outrun an arrow. Capturing it alive and unharmed seemed impossible. Hercules couldn't just use brute force. Instead, he pursued the hind relentlessly for an entire year, chasing it across Greece. Finally, he managed to trap it, carefully explaining to a furious Artemis that he was only acting on divine orders. The goddess, understanding his plight, allowed him to take the hind to Eurystheus. Labor number 4 was to capture the Erymanthian Boar. This giant, ferocious boar was terrorizing the region of Arcadia. Hercules sought advice from the wise centaur Pholus. The plan was simple: chase the boar up the mountain into deep snow. Exhausted and slowed by the snowdrifts, the boar was no match for Hercules. He captured it, bound its legs, and carried the massive beast all the way back to Mycenae on his shoulders. The sight of Hercules returning with the live, snarling boar was so terrifying that King Eurystheus hid in a large storage jar, begging Hercules to get it out of his sight. The labors were getting weirder. For his 5th task, Hercules was ordered to clean the Augean Stables in a single day. King Augeas owned more cattle than anyone in Greece, and his stables hadn't been cleaned in over 30 years. They were filled with an unimaginable amount of filth. This task wasn't about strength, but about cleverness. Instead of shoveling, Hercules diverted to entire rivers, the Alpheus and the Peneus, to flow through the stables. The powerful currents washed away all the dung in a matter of hours, a clean solution to a dirty problem. Hera, however, wasn't pleased. She declared that 2 of the labors didn't count: the Hydra, because Iolaus had helped, and the Augean Stables, because Hercules was promised payment. So instead of 10 labors, he would now have to complete 12. The 6th labor took him to Lake Stymphalia. Area was plagued by the Stymphalian Birds, monstrous man-eating birds with bronze beaks, metallic feathers they could shoot like arrows, and poisonous droppings. They had taken over the dense, swampy forest around the lake, making them impossible to reach. This time, help came from the goddess Athena. She gave Hercules a crotala, a special rattle forged by Hephaestus. The noise it made was so terrible that it startled the birds into flight. As they flew out into the open, Hercules shot them down one by one with his Hydra-poisoned arrows. For his 7th labor, Hercules had to travel to the island of Crete to capture the Cretan Bull. This bull, father of the Minotaur, was a magnificent but savage creature breathing fire and causing chaos all over the island. After a long and difficult battle, Hercules overpowered the bull with his bare hands and shipped it back to King Eurystheus. The king, once again terrified, promptly set it free, where it continued to wander Greece until it was eventually killed by another hero, Theseus. Now, for the 8th labor, steal the Mares of Diomedes. These weren't ordinary horses. Diomedes, the king of the Bestones in Thrace, was a cruel ruler who fed his 4 mares on the flesh of unsuspecting guests. They were wild, vicious, and completely untamable. Hercules sailed to Thrace with a group of volunteers. He overpowered Diomedes' stable hands, defeated the king himself, and fed him to his own horses. After eating their master, the mares mysteriously became calm. Hercules was able to bind their mouths and lead them back to Eurystheus, who dedicated them to Hera. The 9th labor was a personal mission for Eurystheus' daughter. She wanted the Girdle of Hippolyta, the queen of the Amazons. This beautiful leather belt was a gift from her father, Ares, the god of war. Hercules set sail for the land of the Amazons. At first, things went surprisingly well. Hippolyta was so impressed by Hercules that she willingly offered him the girdle. But Hera, ever the troublemaker, disguised herself as an Amazon and spread a rumor that Hercules was there to kidnap their queen. The Amazons attacked. In the ensuing battle, tragically Hippolyta was killed, and Hercules took the girdle and fought his way back to his ship. Labaten took Hercules to the edge of the known world to capture the cattle of the 3-bodied giant Geryon. Geryon lived on the mythical island of Erythea, far out in the Western Ocean. To get there, Hercules, frustrated by the heat of the desert, shot an arrow at the sun god Helios. Amused by his audacity, Helios lent Hercules his golden chariot, which he used to sail across the ocean. On the island, Hercules killed Geryon's 2-headed guard dog Orthrus and the herdsman. He then faced Geryon himself. Despite the giant having 3 heads and 3 bodies, Hercules defeated him with a single well-aimed poison-tipped arrow. He then herded the cattle all the way back across Europe to Greece, a monumental journey in itself. With the 10 original labors complete and 2 more to go, the tasks became even more divine and otherworldly. The 11th labor, steal the golden apples of the Hesperides. These apples grew in a garden at the western edge of the world, tended by nymphs called the Hesperides, and guarded by a 100-headed dragon named Laden. The apples granted immortality. The problem was, no one knew where the garden was. After many adventures, including wrestling the sea god Nereus for information, Hercules learned the location. He also learned that he shouldn't pick the apples himself. So he sought the help of the Titan Atlas, who was condemned to hold the heavens on his shoulders. Hercules offered to take the weight of the sky for a moment if Atlas would fetch the apples. Atlas agreed, but upon returning, he tried to trick Hercules into holding the sky forever. But Hercules was clever, pretended to agree, but asked Atlas to take the sky back for just a second so he could adjust his cloak. As soon as Atlas took the weight, Hercules grabbed the apples and ran. Finally, the 12th and final labor, the most dangerous of all, capture Cerberus, the 3-headed guard dog of the Underworld. Hercules had to descend into the realm of the dead itself. He was guided by Hermes and Athena. He met Hades, the king of the Underworld, who agreed to let Hercules take Cerberus, but only if he could overpower the beast without using any weapons. Hercules found the monstrous dog at the gates of Acheron. He wrapped his arms around its necks, protected by his lion skin, and squeezed until the beast submitted. He dragged the terrifying, struggling Cerberus out of the underworld and presented him to a horrified Eurystheus. After showing the king, Hercules, as promised, returned the guardian of hell to its rightful place. And so, the 12 labors were complete. Hercules was finally free from his servitude and absolved of his guilt. His journey was one of unimaginable hardship, a testament not just to his incredible strength, but to his endurance, his cleverness, and his unyielding will to find redemption. His story shows us that even in our darkest moments, we can find the strength to face our own impossible tasks. Thank you so much for joining me on this epic journey through Greek mythology. If you enjoyed learning about the 12 labors of Hercules, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure into the world of legends. Let me know in the comments which labor you find the most impressive. See you next time.